we're recording. So, hello everybody. Welcome to HVAC Uncensored. This is the live edition. Well, not really live, it's live for us. This is the video part. So, like we said last week, we're going to start doing these videos with all the podcast. So you're going to have the video released as well as the audio on the podcast apps. And now that we have this down and we have it figured out, I'm not going to release the audio only on YouTube anymore. If God forbid you want just the audio, then you need to download one of the podcast apps, which we always say we're on all the major podcast apps, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. We should be in all of those. If you search for us and you don't find us, please email me at hvacuncensored@gmail.com and I'll figure out why it's not working. But yeah, we figured it out. And now, Zach, you tricky guy, now I know why Zach always has Justin in there, because I was wondering why last week I didn't release the video because all you saw was Kelly's ugly mug the whole time. And I realized you have to have 3 people. Otherwise, the camera doesn't switch back and forth to who's talking. And now that makes sense. So it made no sense to release the video last week. Even though you do see Kelly, and he's not ugly, he's handsome.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said,
yeah,
if you want a bunch of Brazilian supermodels subscribing to our YouTube channel, then he should have released it that way.
Yeah, we're gonna start just like putting like porn videos on here and just us talking in the background. Maybe we'll get more viewers. But yeah, so the video was just him and trying to follow the conversation of us going back and forth just didn't make any sense. So hopefully this one will work out. So if you're watching the video, I'll tell you guys, we have Mr. Nick Guerriero on here with us. Obviously, once the podcast audio part starts, we'll introduce him once again because they haven't heard it yet. But yes, all right. Well, let's not waste time, man. Let's get this going and we will do our normal thing. So first of all, man, obviously we always like to start off thanking the sponsors, the people who help make this podcast possible. Without them, it would be kind of hard. We always say we do it for you guys, but if there wasn't a little bit, a financial gain from this, it would be kind of hard to take all this time that we take away from our families and work and etc. So let's start off with Old Faithful, Yellow Jacket. Guys, sorry. More than 70 years ago, Jack Ritchie set out a goal for Ritchie Engineering to become the standard by which all HVAC hoses are measured. In the last 7 decades, the Yellow Jacket brand has not only become a standard in hoses, tools, refrigerant gauges, manifolds, HVAC vacuum pumps, and refrigerant recovery machines, it's become legendary. How have they done that? Through an unwavering commitment to excellence. It's the single most important attribute in the longevity of the company. While other companies sold out, sent work overseas, or lessened quality, the relentlessness commitment of their people has led to 70 years of best-in-class products. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying there. 70 years of best-in-class products, first-class customer service, and innovations that make the contractors, that's us, jobs easier worldwide. So let's join them in the next 70 years as they commit to changing the standard once again. Guys, remember, Yellow Jacket, 70 years of expertise built into every tool.
Streamline and automate your business with House Call Pro. When clients sign up with House Call Pro, they've seen revenue growth of up to 30% just in the first year. House Call Pro automates all of your back office work, which can save you over 15 hours of work each week. Guys, also, the problem with paper invoicing is that sometimes the invoice...
Hey, stop. I just realized I didn't play any of the fucking bumpers to begin it.
Okay.
Look at me. Jesus, God damn it, Gil. All right, let's do this again.
Blame it on Nick.
Yeah, God damn it, Nick. Messed everything up. Jesus, I don't even have stuff pulled up. What am I doing? I was wondering, I'm like, why do I feel like I didn't do something? I'm like, I pressed the record button.
You're trying to be fancy there.
Yeah.
Am I that good looking? I messed everything up.
Yeah. Now it's me. Do it a million times. We're on the 50th episode and I still can't get shit right. So let's try this again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
There we go. Finally, I played the bumper this time, so the people on video can see my mistake. See, showing you everything. So once again, now we're going to show a little love to the sponsors that show us love and make this podcast possible. And first is going to be Yellow Jacket. Has been the rock for us. They have been a sponsor of this podcast since day one. To be honest, they were a sponsor before we ever recorded a podcast, which a lot of people ask me how I did that. And to be honest, I don't know, but it worked. Anyway, guys, for more than 70 years, more than 70 years ago, Jack Ritchie set a goal for Ritchie Engineering to become the standard by which all other hoses are measured. In the last 7 decades, the Yellow Jacket brand has not only become the standard in hoses, tools, refrigeration gauges, manifolds, HVAC vacuum pumps, and refrigerant recovery machines, it's become legendary. How have they done that? Through an unwavering commitment to excellence. It's the single most important attribute in the longevity of the company. While other companies sold out, sent work overseas, or lessened quality, the relentlessness and commitment of their people has led to 70 years of best-in-class products, first-class customer service, and innovations that make the contractors, that's us, jobs easier worldwide. So let's join Yellow Jacket in the next 70 years as they commit to changing the standard once again. Guys, remember, Yellow Jacket, 70 years of expertise built into every tool.
Streamline and automate your business with House Call Pro. When clients sign up with House Call Pro, they've seen revenue growth of up to 30% just in the first year. House Call Pro automates all of your back office work, which can save you over 15 hours of work each week. Guys, also, there's always this problem with paper invoicing, which is that the invoice gets lost, or sometimes you do a call during the busy times, or one of your coworkers does calls, and we just do something minor and we just don't fill out an invoice for some reason or another. And oftentimes those don't get billed. And when they don't get billed, you're losing revenue. So I promise that this is probably happening to you if you're still paper invoices. It's just really hard to track them. So just stop the madness. Go to www.housecallpro.com/HVAC-uncensored. Sign up for a free demo, get a free $50 fuel card, and check it out. See if it's for you. They do work with all types of businesses, but they're really specialized with HVAC businesses and any home service business. They do work also, and the platform works great with anywhere from just starting out to a $20 million company. All ranges, all sizes. Check it out. housecallpro.com.
Yeah, and last but not least is going to be our new one is going to be Live Bearded. So for all, this is going to be obviously specific to all my bearded brothers out there. I mean, and ladies, if that's your thing, whatever. Live Bearded is an awesome company. Their products are good. They're all natural. It's no bullshit. And any of you out there that have a beard, and you know, when you look online, there's 9 million different companies and they make all these guarantees and you don't know what to use. But guys, I've been using Live Bearded products for quite a little while now. Not terribly long, but for a good little while. And these products are awesome. They don't have a whole bunch of crap, but they have a beard oil, which is good. If you guys have a beard, you know you get that itchiness underneath because as the hair starts to grow. They have an oil that people think's for your beard, but it's actually for the skin underneath. They have a butter that's just like a conditioner that helps just make it feel soft, so it's not like, you know, scratching your balls. And The shampoo that's actually made for this, because some of the things we have in the shower that, I mean, I don't have hair, but for you guys that have hair, that shampoo is made for that. It's not made for your face. So their products are good. I've loved them. They have a bunch of different scents. I've tried quite a few. And go ahead. If you go in and you put in HVAC Uncensored in the discount code, you guys are going to have to give me some feedback, because I think it's just HVAC Uncensored. You can type it anyway, lowercase, uppercase. I think as long as it's HVAC Uncensored, it works. And you get 10% off. And then it also helps the podcast as well. So guys, go check out Live Bearded. They're say it's a brotherhood, and they always say live better, do better. So live better, do better, Live Bearded.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the USA. God bless this great nation that we get to call home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelly McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelly.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to episode 50 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. We want to thank you guys all for listening. As always, this would be nothing without you guys. I think we're going to have a good show here tonight. I'm yours truly, Mr. Gil Motherfreaking Cavey, sitting alongside Mr. Kelly McKay. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Doing good, man.
Yeah, it's good, man.
It's middle of summer, so it's good. We're busy, thankfully.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually really, really crazy. But guys, we won't do too much chit chat tonight. We have someone here tonight, Mr. Nick Guerriero. He is one of the mods of the HVAC group. He is one of the guys who does a lot of things for us behind the scenes, and he's going to come in here tonight and be a guest with us. So, without further ado, hello, Mr. Nick.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy? Sorry, I give you a little applause, man. Thanks for coming on tonight, buddy. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
So, I guess, Nick, let's just, start off by telling people, what kind of, like, as far as the trade, like, what are you with your company doing more? Are you like residential, like commercial, all residential? Like, what do you guys focus on?
We're strictly commercial. We do some industrial stuff. I'll work on pretty much anything from a little window air conditioner that might condition a office for a warehouse manager, all the way from that up to 155 and 200 ton chillers that work process lines for pharmaceutical manufacturers.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. As much as I've talked to you, I didn't know that you didn't do any residential. That's crazy. See, look, you learned something new. I didn't know that. I miss that stuff, man, because I do, but I don't. Because I started in industrial commercial stuff, and I never really touched any small stuff. And I doing some ammonia things for like slaughterhouses and different things like that. And it was fun. So I do miss it at times, but that's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, I enjoy a lot of the places that I go into. Just seeing how a lot of stuff is made is just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool. I told the story in here before. The first time I went into that slaughterhouse, and I thought it would be cool. I thought it would be neat to see. I mean, I wasn't going to be in there like getting my rocks off seeing an animal killed, but I just thought it would be to see the process at one time would be cool. And it wasn't. It was actually it was pretty gruesome. I was like, yeah, this is not cool. And just the way it did it reminded me like something like the Saw movies. And I was like, yeah, I don't ever want to see this again. And then when you're done and the butcher guys that work in there are on break wearing all white and they got blood all over them, their face, their hands, and they're out there smoking cigarettes like a bunch of fucking axe murderers. It's I'm like, whatever, man. I guess you got to work, whatever floats your boat. But it wasn't cool as I thought it was going to be. I'll just say that. But
one of my guys raised pigs, who used to work with me. He moved because his wife got a job somewhere else, but he raised pigs, and I'm pretty sure I was with him. And I just we drove up there just to take them in for slaughter, and it's like we got one in or something. I cannot remember the situation, but like I know we like opened the back door, and that's when like the dude in there like did his little bolt thing, you know, to the brain. And all the other pigs started flipping the fuck out, you know, because they know what the fuck's going on. You know,
Uncle Jimmy, Uncle
exactly.
Jimmy, you know,
exactly. And so that was, I'm pretty sure I was there for that. I can't remember if he just told me that story or if I was there. You never had that, you know. I just can't remember. It seems like I was there, but anyhow, that's my pig slaughter story.
that's
I know
great.
a guy that sells some kind of equipment for like slaughtering chickens or something, and he said when you go into the plant and they're doing like kosher chickens, there's a bunch of rabbis in a room just blessing chickens and whacking their heads off with like meat cleavers.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that kosher because the place that I went into is a kosher place. And when the cow comes in, they lift up, they have a thing that clamps around its neck, and then they pick it up the back end, I guess, to make all the blood rush down. And he does his little hibbity hobbity hoobity or whatever, and then slices its throat. But I won't say the name of the company because they do have good products. But I've been there when the rabbi's not been there, and they've just had old, you know, James from the mailroom up there doing the old hibbity hobbity hoobity and cutting their necks. Because we asked, and he's like, hey, he calls out sick. We still need to, we still got, you know, still got shit to do. So obviously they don't want people to know that. But I was like, so you sell this at a discount because this technically isn't kosher? But it's dangerous too, man, because if like their freezers and walk-ins, they all go down on a grade. Like where they slaughter them is up here, and everything goes down because they pretty much cut the cow in half and they put them on these big hooks, and it just slides down. And I don't know. I mean, those things got to be like 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, just half of it. I mean, when that thing's sliding, if that hits you, you're a dead duck. So there's a couple of times you'll hear them. They have like a red light and a siren that they'll do. And if you don't hear that, then you deserve to get smacked with a carcass. I mean, you know what I mean? Because anybody would know like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be here right now. But it is what it is. But anyway, people know about us. How long have you been in the HVAC trade, Nick? And like what made you get into this kind of work?
I probably have about 20 years of experience, but I can't count most of them because it was just carrying refrigerant tanks around for my dad. But that's kind of why I got into it. I had pursued a career in some other things before going into HVAC, but they just didn't pan out, or I just didn't put enough focus into them to really make anything out of them.
Yeah, it happens. You know, people have heard our stories. I mean, I do this because of my dad. That's how I got into it. And, you know, Kelly got into, you know, it was your father-in-law that got Kelly into it. So it's.
So did your dad, did he do all commercial too?
He did transport refrigeration. So any of the refrigerated trailers running up and down the road is what he worked on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like with our skill set, there's so many different avenues you can take, because I don't know if I've said this on this podcast. I know I said it before, but I know a guy that he went to HVAC school, and then now he works at a hospital working on dialysis machines, because apparently the concept is the same. He had the in because of his dad, but he was like early 20s going there, and he was making like $100 and something thousand a year, a company truck, a work phone, and he didn't have like straight hours. But when they called him, he had to go. There was no like, oh, I'll be there, in 4 hours. They're like, no, bitch, you're going to be here, you're going to be here ASAP. But
Yeah.
he loved it. And I actually ran into him. Like, it's funny that I think of this story, maybe before the summer started, because he had talked to me about he was going somewhere, but he still does it and still makes a killing. So, damn, good for you, boss.
I hear you.
Yeah, there's so many niches in this industry for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Like I ran to another guy who he was an okay like mechanic as far as when he did like commercial stuff, but he was always like into boats and stuff like that, which it kind of makes sense. But he went in and he does all like boating, air conditioning, refrigeration. Like he specializes in that now. I don't think it's his own company, but he works for somebody else. But he's like the owner's right hand man. Whoops. And he's doing really good for himself. I'm like, good for you, man. Because to be honest, I thought the way he was going there for a while that he was gonna like get out of the trade. I know he was trying to go back to school for something else. So it's good to see him in another roundabout area, still in the trade.
I almost got out of the trade just a couple of years ago, right before I started with the company that I'm at now. I just didn't like what I was doing, was kind of burned down on it, and tried to go work for CMPD, the local police department. And I mean, I was fully ready to get out and just be done with it and say to hell with all of it.
You know what, Nick, to be honest, me and Kelly had this talk. If you don't have that at least once or twice in your career, then I don't know what to tell you, because I think everybody has that moment. I've had it a couple of times where I've been like, do I really want to do this? I mean, like, do I want to keep doing this the rest of my life? What the fuck is that? Sorry, I see something crawling on my big curtain in front of me. But yeah, I think when you have those moments, it's like, there's plenty of times. One time years ago, I didn't do it for long. I actually delivered bread. A friend of mine, his dad's a big wig for a local bread company called H&S Bakery. And I worked out of like going to DC, Virginia. And fuck that. I mean, it was like, getting there 1 o'clock in the morning, loading your truck up. And every bread has a number. You have to know the number. You can't say like, I need white bread. Like, what do you mean you need white bread? Do you need 147, 289? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, that would suck. That made me realize, like, damn, maybe HVAC is not that bad. So
That was yeah.
I think it's natural. I think everybody has that moment, man. They really do.
Or multiple times, way more than just 2 times.
Yeah. Let's keep talking. I want to.
I got out of the business for one summer. I'd been doing it for 3 years or so, or I think it was 3 years. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. And got out for a summer and drove a forklift truck. Drove a forklift loading grain trucks at a grain elevator, Purina Mills, which makes all kinds of animal food, and loaded trucks for the local zoo and, monkey food and any kind of food you could think of. They made it. But it was horrible. I was stuck inside all day, and I'd been doing HVAC for a while, and it made me think right away. I'm like, HVAC isn't so bad. So I came back.
The freedom had you spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else now. I mean, even if I did, unless I could like podcast full time, like Zach does or something, and be able to support my family, or I don't know. I don't know if I could picture myself really doing anything else and not related to the trade. maybe if I took like a sales, like worked for like the tech support thing, or if I did inside sales or was like a sales guy still related to HVAC, I don't know if I could just totally leave it. But then again, I don't know if I could do that because I like to use my hands. I don't know if I could just be in an office all
You could be
day.
a territory manager, and just have your 15 businesses that you look after and take care of and help grow, stuff like that.
Yeah, like
I think you would enjoy that. I mean, someday, I know I would.
yeah, because like we said before, that's when I think about, like I just talked about this. A lot of you guys, if you don't know, I'll give a shout out real fast that I was just a guest on the Shop Talk podcast on his live stream on Zach's YouTube channel. And that's what we talked about when I just said that, I love what I do, but the hours kill me sometimes, having 4 kids and, with the health conditions that I've been through and going through, which I'm doing good now, but it's just kind of opened my eyes that I can't get time back. I can always make money. I can't, once time is gone, it's gone. And I don't want to look back and miss things with my kids. And so there's a lot of, it's made me think about a lot of things, a lot of different avenues about my future and exactly where I want it to be and stuff like that. So I got a lot of soul searching to do. I mean, to actually decide, but it's not like I have a rush. I mean, but it's definitely something that weighs on me more than it ever has.
I got a friend going through that right now.
It's hard, man. I mean, when I leave and my 2 daughters are crying, "Daddy, don't go. Daddy, don't go." I mean, and I know that I got to go to work. I mean, got to pay the bills, but after a while, I mean, that shit eats on you, especially when, and to be honest, I've tried to stop doing it just for this reason. When I'll have a long day and like I'll stop home to like grab a sandwich or just something just to say hello if I'm in the neighborhood and then I have to leave. Yeah, like that's that
twice
kills.
as hard now.
Yeah. So now I'll come home. If I do, I know my girls are napping, or they don't know I'm here or something, just because I don't want to do that. Cause then I leave feeling like shit. I mean, this is a demanding trade. This takes a lot of time from us. And most of the guys that are good at it, they make a lot of sacrifices and they're dedicated to it. And that's what you got to do. I mean, you can make a good living doing this, but to be good at the craft, you have to be dedicated. And some parts of it, it takes time and it sucks. I think that's why all those years my dad didn't go work for a company like me. He worked for that restaurant chain running their stuff. But I mean, my dad worked 7 to 3.
Yeah. More of
regular. Yeah, really, did he ever work late? Yeah, exactly. Did he never had to really leave? He went on call every once in a while. And my dad knew that he probably could have made more money. Not that he didn't do good. I mean, they took care of him, but he's like, I'm good. I make just enough. I make enough money to be comfortable. And, my dad was always like all my sporting events and stuff like that. So sometimes you got to weigh your options. But
I can tell you, growing the business, this is really top of mind with me too right now. Just because I've just got a lot on my mind with the business, and we're busy, and I'm trying to make the right decisions for us, and it's I get tired of it, just like everyone else out there. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's all unicorns and butterflies. It's not. It's whether you're in the field all day or you're trying to grow a business and keep everybody happy or managing those people to make sure that they're happy, man, it's tough. And through growing the business, and I about lost everything. I mean, lost the whole my why. Why you come to work every day, or what you're fighting for. And there's a lot of time that I'll never get back. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do it the same again if I knowing what I now know.
I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could redo everything. I don't know if I'd still be in this trade. Like a lot of people know, like I love to coach like youth sports and like, and I was coaching my son's team and stuff like that. But now it's hard to commit because I don't have the time. I can't be there, and that stinks. I miss doing that stuff. My son, thank God. Well, now he's going into high school. When he was in youth, the games were later, so it was a little bit easier. But now when he goes like high school, the football won't be bad because they play on like, well, the varsity plays later. I don't know if they'll make varsity freshman year, but baseball plays like right after school. Like 4 o'clock. So it's like, well, shit, I'm gonna have to find a way to mix that in my schedule to be able to get there because I don't want to miss it. But it is what it is, guys. We all know that we make sacrifices for this trade, and that's why me and Kelly have always talked about the time that you do have, you have to make it count. When you're home, you have to be home. Your mind has to be there, not just physically. Your mind has to be there, taking care of your responsibilities, doing what you got to do, because we know that there's a lot of drug issues in the trades, not just HVAC, just trades in general. We all know those guys that get paid on Friday and they're broke by Sunday because God knows what they're doing over the weekend. Or, guys getting divorced. Wife's like, you're cheating on me. You're never home. It's like, bitch, I'm working. What are you talking about? No, you're not. You're running around on me. And it's more common than we would like it to be. But
yeah, it just feels like you wait too long. And this came up because I was a guest on another podcast, but this came up, and it's just a really important subject, which is you just wait too long to reach out for help. Like you're far too gone with your relationship with your wife or your kids, because this trade will, if you allow it to, like it will take those things away from you. So it's something you got to keep in check. And but oftentimes people wait till the last minute, till it's like, it's too late to try to save the marriage, or too late to try to save the business, or I don't know. Well, don't wait is what I'm saying. Like, take some time off if you have to. If you got whatever you got to do to make things right, just do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like we said, we're in this trade, like, especially with HVAC guys, it's that prideful ego thing. Like, just like you see in the Facebook group, I'm the best tech ever. I'm the super tech. And I think that's the same way in your life when you have issues. And maybe it's a man thing. I don't know. I don't want to be sexist by saying that, but sometimes asking for help is not easy. First, you have to admit there's a problem, no matter what it is. And then trying to ask somebody for help, it gets hard. So guys, if you're out there, and like I always say this, people know that me and my wife were both recovering addicts years ago. Had issues with drugs. Two guys I grew up with just passed away, just overdosed. So I'm going to say this. If any of you are out there with that kind of issue, talk to somebody, get help, man. If I can help you in any way, email me, private message me. I'd be more than happy to help somebody. But if you have that kind of issue, get help, man. Don't let your family be burying you because that one night of fun ended up being your last night ever. I've seen it happen too many times, man. I've got people tattooed on me, and I'm sick of burying people. So, and that's alcoholism. I mean, all of them mashed in together. If you got issues at home and you value your marriage or a friendship or whatever, do what you got to do, man. Make it. I mean, if you have a good boss or something like that and they know what you're going through, they're going to let you take the time to do what you got to do. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. It's just, that makes life miserable. And who the hell wants to live like that? And I don't mean to, I'm not trying to make it like a Debbie Downer podcast, but it's just the truth, and people need to hear it sometimes. It's one of the negative things, especially in the summertime when we're working buku hours. Yeah, we're making money, but you're not really having time to enjoy it. Not yet. So yeah, we'll see. But I guess we'll what are you laughing at, Dick? Well,
Oh, you're saying Guess it's not a Debbie Downer. I was going to blame Nick again. So,
Oh, God.
he's an easy scapegoat because
But Nick, if you want, man, the topic that you came on, the one that you had written down, man, you're more than happy to go ahead and shoot if you want to do that now, or we can wait, however you want to do it.
Well, it leads in really well. Well, what you were saying leads in really well to it.
I knew that.
I know. We talked about it. But yeah, it is kind of relevant to what you and Kelly were saying. You know, I've got a friend of mine who's got a cousin that he entered into the military in around 2009. He was in the Army. He served for 4 years. And this is relevant because I know there are a lot of veterans in the trades. I think I work with 3 or 4 just in my shop alone. Of course, in North Carolina, we, especially in Charlotte, we've got a high number of veterans just because of the proximity to Fort Bragg. But
Camp Lejeune's not far away either.
No, and Pope Air Force Base is not far away either. So
Yeah.
I think all 3 of them are within about 2.5 or 3 hours. But no, he went into the military and he was in combat situations, came back, had some issues with some PTSD, and got told by some family members that he was a burden on the family and they didn't want him around, which led him to start self-medicating through primarily alcohol. And just recently found out that he's not doing very well. He's having a lot of dark thoughts, and it's really sad to see because he's actually a really good guy when he's sober. He's smart. He's very well driven. He's one person that I've talked to, and you ask him what he's got going on, and he's always got these very like manly type jobs. He's always working in like a steel mill or a lumberjack or something like that.
Not funny. I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. I was just
No, it's true. He's always got like that stereotypical manly job, like what do you do? I'm a lumberjack. I do that for 16 hours and I get off of work and I go to the gym and work out there for another 3 hours, go home, sleep for an hour, wake up at dawn, have a stress dream about the house burning down, and I go back to work. In my free time, I'm going to school. And you're like, what free time are you talking about?
Yeah, that's before you keep going, man. I'm in, because of my years of addiction, me and my wife have a lot of speakings that we go to and we tell our story and talk to people. And that's another passion of mine, is to help somebody. So if you can pass my information on to him, man, I would be more than happy to talk to him. So especially with the, as far as the issues, military stuff like that, we have a lot of connections that we could talk about. So I would be more than happy to talk to him, or even set him up with some people that could way better than me, if that helps. So we can talk about that off air, but let me know.
Yeah, we'll do. My neighbor, he was 82nd and 101st and served in a couple of different conflicts, and I talked to him about it, and he said to give him his number. And he's in a little bit better of a household situation than he was. He was living with another veteran, and I know the guy meant well and he was trying to do everything he could, but I think the guy he was living with really wasn't in a position to be taking on a project himself. So from what I understand, the last couple of days he's kind of knocked the drinking off a little bit, and he's been a little more level-headed. But yeah, it's a terrible thing to see somebody that goes off to protect us and defend us, and come back and to get shit on like that is just, it's not the way it's supposed to be.
No, that's fucked up on behalf of his family to say that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, I couldn't imagine my family saying, granted, I have a military family, so that would never happen, but I can't imagine that. And I've actually seen it before. A friend of mine who was also in the Marine Corps, his mom told him, I heard it. It's not, I was there. She told him, you know, I wish you would have just died in Iraq. Like, how the fuck do you say that to your child? Like, what the hell? I mean, and the thing is, man, you have 18-year-old kids that think about when you were 18. You just
I
graduated.
was an idiot.
Yeah, you haven't even seen the world yet. And you don't know anything besides your little group of friends in high school and the girl that you were finger banging or whatever. And now you're in a foreign country killing people, fighting for your life.
Yeah.
And you come home and they're like, okay, thank you for your service. Uncle Sam doesn't need you anymore. Go ahead back into society. It's not as easy as people think. And it's harder for some people than others, especially based on what you've seen over there. It's hard. And at least now our military is better than like the Vietnam era guys that they were getting spit on and they were the enemy when they came home. Like guys like my dad. It's bad, man. We have too many veterans coming home committing suicide. It's bad. So when I hear that story, it really, really breaks my heart. And I hope that he gets the help that he needs. And like I said, if I can help him in any way, I 100% will do it because there's too many people like him out there.
Yeah, I know. Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
I was just going to say, I mean, I'm a little bit familiar with this just because my dad went to Vietnam and he did see combat. He did kill people. I've got pictures of just from when he was over there, albums that, multiple pictures of people blown in half and piles of dead bodies. And he was never the same when he came back. And off and on struggle with alcoholism, depression, PTSD, was never treated. Multiple DUIs throughout his life. He would always get a good lawyer and get off. So he never lost his license or anything, but had several run-ins like in a streak. And in 2008, he lent me my it was like a kind of a ripple effect. My grandpa, his dad, had passed away after multiple health issues, and his best friend, who he had went to high school with and didn't go to the military with, he was a Marine, but always stayed in contact with him. And his best friend, he passed away. And then he ended up getting a couple of DUIs, and he paid for the first one and got, nothing really happened really. And then got yet another one. And my stepmom, who had been with him for over 20 years, she had enough, because financially it's very, it can really create struggle financially if you have to pay $10,000 every, it's like $10,000 to pay a good lawyer to help you fight, a DUI.
Yeah.
So after that happening multiple times, she packed up the house, and he basically just through his let's see, I started the business in 2008. He lent me $10,000 because from my grandpa's house that had sold, and it got split between all the kids. And he lent me $10,000 that was given to him to start the business. And in July, all this happened. He accumulated a couple DUIs. The depression was worse than ever. And anyhow, he left the house and went out and was missing for 3 days. We didn't know where he was. And he had went out to the river and walked 150 yards into the woods and killed himself. And so it's so I totally get it. And it's something my dad never talked about, the war. I only remember him talking about it with another buddy of his that had been in the war when I was really little. Other than that, he really never spoke of it, other than little times he would say, well, when I was in the service, we did this or we did that, but he never talked about combat or,
most don't. And that's the truth. And real fast, man, I want to say, I appreciate you saying that story, Kelly, and I know you didn't have to, because that's a personal story that
Yeah.
not everybody. I mean, me and you have talked, and I know that you had lost your parents. I didn't know that, so I appreciate you saying that, man. I really do. And I'm sorry that happened. I can only imagine. You know.
As you can imagine, I mean, that's and when my dad gave me the money, he said, "I just want you to have a chance. I just want you to have the chance, like to run a business, you know, try to be successful." So, as you can imagine, that's been a pretty big driving force behind allowing me to keep going when there's been so many times where it would have just been so much easier just to quit.
Yeah.
But I just I gotta make sure that he's proud of me, and you know,
He
and
definitely is, man. There's no way he could not be, Kelly.
just like Nick said, with this buddy saying, saying he's a really good guy. I mean, my dad was a really good guy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no question about it. Regardless, he wasn't the best husband. He wasn't to my mom or my stepmom. He wasn't. But as far as a dad goes, excellent dad. So, man, just because they're going through rough times, it don't make them a bad person.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I like some of these programs out there. And to be honest, I'd love to find some out and highlight them. The ones where I know they help veterans get into the trades. Different things. I mean, I know there's like the Wounded Warrior Project, but that's more to help build houses for them. I don't know if it's the actual veterans doing the building. I'm not sure. Some people would know that better, but it's a good topic that you bring up, Nick. It really is. And it hits close to home, obviously, for us. So, I mean, veterans, anybody out there going through issues, man, and you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it, because you don't want to be,
Don't be a statistic.
No.
Exactly. You don't want your kids not having a mother, a father, your brothers or sisters not having their brother, etc. It's hard, man. I mean, I've lost best friends. I mean, granted, I lost my best friend, and 6 months later, I lost my dad. And thank God that my daughter, okay, so it was June, I lost my best friend who had been clean for like 4 years, and then hung out with some stupid bitch he wasn't even supposed to be with, because he had a girlfriend, and stuck a needle in his arm and died. And 6 months later, January, actually on my wedding anniversary, which is also the same day that my dad died. Thank God, December 16th, which is my grandmother's birthday, who's no longer here, my oldest daughter was born. And I think that was like a sign from God for her to be born on that day. She was built a few months ago, but yeah, it was just some kind of positivity, because I know that if without her birth and that kind of positive thing happened in my life, I'd have fucking lost it. I mean, and that's one of the few times, like, since I've been clean, I've been good. My mind's never wandered. I could even sit next to somebody doing God knows what and be like, "You're a fucking idiot. I'm not doing that." But that was a dark time that my mind wandered pretty bad. It's just because you have so much pain, you want it to go away. And you get people that come home and you get flashbacks. Things just keep playing over in your mind, and you can't make it stop. You close your eyes, it doesn't go away. You can be talking face to face with somebody, but that's what you're seeing, and it doesn't go away. So these guys self-medicate themselves. And people like my dad and your dad, Kelly, in the Vietnam era, you didn't hear about PTSD.
No.
Oh, stop being pussy. That's why alcoholism of military veterans in that age and even back is crazy, because that's what they did. Nowadays they know what PTSD is. And I guess people are getting more help, but still it's not enough. And then again, they have to ask for it. So it's definitely,
yeah. Also, while we're on this subject, this guy, I've probably known him ever since I've been in the industry, or at least met him. And as I have grown, as I was coming up and growing in my career and learning, all new skills. And he was one of my, like tech support guys. Like I would call him all the time because he could help me walk me through stuff. Just a great guy as far as he just always worked on the counter. And he, I think it was just last year that he retired. Retired last year. Well, I think it was just Sunday. His wife left to go get some food. She comes back, and I think she found him out in the backyard, and he took his own life. And he's been in our trade at one of our counter guys. Like imagine one of the counter guys you deal with on a daily basis or weekly basis for 20 some years. He finally retires, and then this happens. So yeah, reach out if you need to talk to somebody, anybody, before it gets to that point. So
Yeah, and guys, I know this hasn't been much necessarily HVAC related, but it's still a good topic. It needs to be addressed, and I think that it's prevalent in our field, whether you're a veteran or not. But so I appreciate you bringing that up, Nick. It's definitely a good topic, and like I said, I hope that your buddy does not turn into a statistic and gets the help that he needs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but I guess, damn, we're already at an hour. But I guess I want to hit another little topic real fast that I want your guys' opinion. So, coming from an owner, a manager, and a technician, even though that you're in commercial, so it's going to be a little bit different as far
I've
as.
got residential history.
Well, that's true. I mean, but like now, you said you pretty much like work like set hours, right? Like you're normally off by a certain time every day.
Yeah, we're primarily like 7:30 to 3:30. I'll go in at about 7 and work till 3:30.
Wow, you lucky bastard. So
Hey,
I guess,
mean, when it's got to get fixed, I got to work over though.
Yeah.
no, that's true. But I mean, that's awesome hours, man. God, I would love to have something like that. But I guess my question is, and me and Kelly have talked about it, is vacations in the summertime. I guess I'll start off, Nick. Does your company let you take vacations in the summer? Like, can you middle of July, as long as you put in notice, you can take vacation whenever you want, or do they have like blackout months?
For the most part, I can take a vacation whenever I want, provided there's not too many people taking off at the same time. Like this past Friday after 4th of July, you typically want to get if you're going to take that Friday, you typically want to get that in there sooner rather than later, because they usually there's 11 of us currently. They usually like to have about 3 or 4 of us at the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes sense, because me and Kelly have talked, and the way that my owner has always done it, which I really don't agree with, I'll be honest, is June, July, August is kind of off limits. You can't take vacation, and that's even for me, like not a whole week, and it sucks. And I work for other companies, and they've let you as long as you put in notice. Granted, some of them were a little bit bigger companies, but even some of the smaller companies, it was just, yeah, it sucks, but we knew that, hey, when you get back, you're going to have to kind of bust your hump to kind of make up for it. And I don't know, it sucks. And I know that it hurts some of the guys, but really the technicians are the ones who are making up for it. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't know. It's just, it's hard. I mean, Kelly, you let your guys take vacation, right?
Yeah, that's something I thought of. I mean, now's the time that we have to go make our money. I mean, I think the statistics are, for like a typical residential business, at least, or residential light commercial, like we make like 80% of our money in these 4 or 5 months. I'd say 4 months, like May, probably May, June, July, August. We probably make 80% of everything we're going to make in those 4 months. So it's really tough when the money's there. And, we always say, and we always hear, and, hey, when it's there, you got to go get it. You got to go make that money while it's here.
But I guess I would like to wonder, how much are you really losing with that one tech gone for that week? It's not like you're shutting the company down.
No, not at all.
You know, I mean, and even like somebody like me, who I bring in more money than anybody.
Woohoo.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's just, and I know that's the way that Mike thinks of it. I know exactly that's how he thinks of it. But
Yeah.
it's not like we're not going to survive. Like, oh my God, now we're going to be in the red that week because Gil's gone or so and so's gone. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like that's a very selfish decision.
I've always been a firm believer in, you know, whether you get 1 week or however much vacation you got, you earn that. You should, you know, be able to use that when you want to use it. But I do see the company standpoint of it too, as, you know, this is the time that we're making our money. But like you were saying, how much are you really losing? If you look at my company, there's 11 of us. If I left for a week, I mean, theoretically, I'm 10% of the money that we bring in, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's more prevalent, to be honest, in smaller companies. So your company would probably be good because there's enough guys to handle it. But
Right.
like, even at my company being a little bit smaller, that you still, the calls are still going to get done. Maybe a couple of guys have to. That's what I mean. Like, it's on the other technicians. Maybe those guys where they might get off at 5 or 6 that day might work till 8. But that's a sacrifice that we'll make. Like, hey, man, I'll do it when you go on vacation, if you do it when I go on vacation. And I know the guys won't care. See, that's what I mean. So the calls are still going to get done. It's
And
just,
whether you're hourly or you're making commission, I mean, if I'm, when I was doing residential, if I'm working till 8, that's probably 2 more calls that I did at least than if I was working till 6. And, you know, that's another potential for selling a system to somebody that the other tech didn't get to sell, which puts more money in my pocket because I made, I think, 3% commission on any equipment I sold. You know, or if I went out and did a fan motor, I think we were getting 5% for repairs. You know, 5% off of however much you charge for a fan motor is going into my pocket. So, I didn't mind too much, but I worked for a really small residential company, so I was working till like 10 o'clock every night, and I wasn't really feeling that.
yeah, trust me, I know how that feels. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like my hands are in too many things, and my shirt got caught on the garbage disposal, and it's got me sucked halfway in to where I'm pulling, but it's not coming out.
And I think it too depends on what you're going out on. Because the biggest problem that I had when I was at the residential company is somebody would have to leave early for whatever reason or not be in that day, and some of their work gets pushed on to me, which is fine. I think there was 4 or 5 of us, but you know, some of their work gets pushed onto me, which is fine. But at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I don't want to be going out and doing one system maintenance on something. I want to be going out for something that's broken. You know, I kind of feel like a one system maintenance, we could have pushed that off for a day until somebody came back.
Yeah, see, we wouldn't do that. We're, first of all, we're not doing maintenance on overtime, and even if it's a Monday, anything after 4 or 5 o'clock is considered overtime. In the grand scheme of things, we're not doing the fucking maintenance unless it's a good customer who, they say, hey man, I can't get off work this time, can you come later? But still, we're not doing any maintenances come summertime. That's why it's stipulated in our contract that we decide when they're done, not the customer.
Do you guys have an overtime rate? Like, do you, after 5 o'clock, does your rate go up?
Yes. So
Okay.
we're $99 is our diagnostic fee between normal hours. We normally have a $30 off coupon, which makes it $69. And then normal overtime is $159. And normally if the people like huff and puff about it, then that's when the girls will say, well, hey, we have a $30 off coupon that's out there, so it'll be $129 to come out. Holidays, sometimes we base it off what we see fit, you know, when we start to take in travel and, you know, different things like that, but it's at least going to be overtime, if not more.
Yeah, see, we didn't have an overtime rate. So the only thing that changed was our diagnostic. So normal business hours during the week was $49, and then overtime or after hours was $89. So the problem that we ran into a lot was throughout the week we wouldn't have that much going on, and come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when everybody's off work, they don't give a crap about an extra $40 tacked on their bill if they don't have to take a day off of work. So the on-call guy is doing, 30 hours worth of work in 2 days.
Yeah. See, I think, and that's the problem you run into. That's why for us, there is a regular, like normal business hours diagnostic fee and pricing. And then there's an overtime diagnostic and pricing. So what that capacitor costs, 8 to 5 during the week is not going to cost the same, 8 o'clock and then on a Saturday. That's because the technician's making overtime. We can't pay him more and charge the same amount of money. It just doesn't make sense. So, and the way we did it, and I fought for this years ago before I became, in management, was it used to be overtime was only over 40 hours. But I'm like, well, that's bullshit, because say you get 35 hours that week, but you're on call and you work all weekend. If the customer's paying overtime rates, the technician should be making overtime money. And the owner agreed with me. And so we make sure we do that. But it's the boss's decision though. But if you got under 40 hours and he says, hey, I got an install on Saturday, do you mind coming out? You're not getting paid overtime until you get over 40. And if I ask a guy to work on the weekend, I think he should be getting paid overtime regardless. But I don't know. I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, because the whole point of working on a weekend is not having enough time during the week, during the normal working hours. So if that's the case, the money should be there. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah. So it's a lot of the guys weren't too happy about that, and it's something that might be addressed in some meetings eventually. But I guess you got to pick and choose your battles. And right now, my main battle is the vacation time, because I'm taking off next month. And to be honest, me and him, so pretty much I want to take I don't know why I have this calendar. It's still May. It's what is it? It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday. So I figured that's not that bad. It's going to Ocean City, which is like 2.5, 3 hours from here, which I did last year around Labor Day. It's just a good little getaway before the kids are back in school, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. And I figured I'd do it that way. That way I'm still there the majority of both weeks, So I'm working Monday through Wednesday, three out of 5 days that week, 3 out of 5 days the next week. And my owner's like, Gil, I don't know if I can do that. We can't do that. I'm like, what? What do you mean we can't do that? And just, he was talking about it, like it really pissed me off. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I said, if you tell me no, that I can't take off those days, we're gonna have a fucking problem. And some other things happened and we didn't finish the conversation. So I'm gonna be pretty fucking pissed off if he tells me that I can't do that. I mean, I'm gonna be pretty frank there. I'm not gonna be fucking happy. So
yeah, I mean, especially because you have kids, too. I mean, it's your time. That's why I haven't done it. There's been times where I thought about it, but I think as long as you give plenty of notice, we can prepare. We can move stuff around on the schedule. We can deal with being short a person or two. And so it's just about planning.
I feel like that's the key to that. What you just said is, giving proper notice. Unless something catastrophic happened, don't come in and tell me you need a week off in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not, yeah, that can't happen. I agree, but I guess our company we're at kind of at like our lowest number wise we've ever been, which is makes it kind of hard from losing people and finally getting fed up and letting some people go, which was a good thing. We just got to get bounced back up the right way. It's just going through that struggle right now. So I understand, you know, one guy being gone is, especially me, is kind of a big deal, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you gotta be able to have something. Like Kelly said, I mean, I have kids, so my kids can't have a summer vacation because I chose this as this kind of work. I mean, no. I mean, my son just went to Myrtle Beach for Youth National, which is his last hurrah for baseball as a youth in like rec ball, well, travel team, but and I couldn't go. I had to send him down there with like one of the other parents because I couldn't be there. And that blows. I mean, granted, if we would have went there, I wouldn't be doing the ocean thing. I wouldn't ask for two, but it just sucks that I can't be there for that. That's something that's only going to happen once, and I couldn't be there. So I don't know. It sucks, but we're getting over an hour, and let me stop running my mouth. So me and Kelly are going to have to close this thing out. But first and foremost, Nick, I want to thank you for coming on here, man. I thank you for all the stuff that you do behind the scenes to help out. We really, really appreciate you, man. And I thank you for being part of the team and coming on, and you're welcome here anytime. And like we talked about, if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to be here every week and do that. So
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, sorry.
It's just thanks, and it's good to meet you. I know I've liked your post, and you've liked my post or whatever for quite a while. So I always notice you in the group, you know. So it's good to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. We've been stalking each other for a little while.
Yes.
apparently you're touching others' posts, so
Oh, don't pretend like you don't touch our posts too.
yes, I do. I even give it a big old smiley face sometimes. All right, hold on. I just ran over my foot. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna finish with my shithead hat on. This is what my wife got me as a gag gift, so that's what she always calls me. But yeah, all right, Kel, let's close this thing out, man.
Thank everybody for listening. Hopefully we caught you at a right moment, or maybe you know somebody that's not in a good place. And maybe this will help you have the courage to stand up and reach out to somebody, because you're not alone. No matter how alone you feel, you're not alone. Somebody's going through the same shit. Somebody feels the same way. So reach out and get help. But thanks so much for listening, everybody. Thank Nick for being on here. Thank the host, Mr. Gil Cavey Jr. Thank you for listening. We wouldn't do this without you. Please share with your friends, family, coworkers, your neighbors. Share it, and spread the word, man. Like us on. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube. Be sure to join our Facebook group, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast whatever app you listen to. So thanks so much, guys, and go make money.
Yeah, guys, thank you as always, man. We appreciate you so much for the growth this podcast has had. It's all attributed to you guys, the listeners. Oh God, shut up. I think keeps making a sound. But yeah, I know this podcast really wasn't, talking about compressors and capacitors, but I think it was a very, very good topic, and I think it does hit close to home to a lot of people. And I'll be quite frank with you, if one guy listens to this and this helps save his life or make his situation better, then it's a utter fucking success for me. So that's how I'm gonna take it. Either way, it's good. And like I said, I thank Nick for his story and for being on here. I thank Kelly for telling his story, because I know that that's not easy. That's not an easy story to tell. especially about your father. So I appreciate him saying that and giving that honesty and saying that, hoping that that's going to be able to help one of you. So just know that that's not easy to do, you know, but if it helps one of you, he took that risk and said it. So, yeah, a few housekeeping things. Got some merchandise ordered. I ordered enough to take care of me and like the little team and a few extras. And if it all works out good, then I'll place a big order, and we'll see how that goes. And then you guys can, you know, start placing orders for what you want, and I'll have it shipped to you. The other thing is, if you guys could leave us a review on your podcast app, that would be great. 5-star review is what we would love. But, you know, that really helps us be prevalent when you start to search for the podcast. We still do pretty well, but the more, the better. I ask that if you don't think it's 4 or 5 stars, that you reach out to us first by email, hvacuncensored@gmail.com, and just give us a chance to at least like defend ourselves or talk about it. And if you have a legitimate complaint, we want to know. We're always trying to make this better. We don't be doing this for a year, but we're not perfect. We're still constantly growing, trying to add things. So if you would be willing to do that and let us know, that would be great. Don't forget about the Live Bearded 10% off if you have bearded products. So go ahead and use that. HVAC Uncensored, the discount code. There is some videos. I'm actually editing some videos that I shot, trying to get some videos on the YouTube channel, as well as we're going to have these coming out. We're going to have some live streams. Kind of do our version. Something we've been meaning to do for a while. The guys in the group text know. Just kind of like our little HVAC management kind of live stream, talking about different topics. I know a lot of people are doing it now, but we've been talking about it forever, so we're going to do it anyway. It is what it is. So we definitely have some things coming. All you guys that, if you listen to this or you're in the Facebook group, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. We have some giveaways coming up. We have not set the date, but we're only going to do the giveaway through YouTube right now. It's just easier to do it. I have a program I'm messing with where I can stream simultaneously between YouTube and Facebook. But until I have the time to get that worked out, all the kinks, it's going to be just in YouTube. And I don't want you guys on Facebook to miss out on the giveaways, since that's where predominantly most of our listeners are. Yep. With that being said, I'm going to stop talking. Been a good show. I hope you guys like it. We appreciate your support. Guys, remember, always be safe, man. Always make it home the same way you left. You always got somebody to make it home to. That's the reason we talked about what we talked about in this podcast. Always set yourself apart, man. Do what the next guy's not doing. Those little things that are going to set you apart to make you do and get to where you're trying to go. All right. Yeah. And we love you guys, man. Appreciate the fuck out of each and every one of you. And we'll talk to you motherfuckers next week, man. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
Boom. Let's turn that red light green. That's no longer recording. All right. And we're going to stop this video for a second. So we thank all you guys for watching. You even saw my screw up in the beginning. We might have to do something as far as cutting out some of the, because actually, believe it or not, Reveille, out of all the stuff we play, Reveille gets a copyright strike. So I got to read through it again and make sure, because at first it said this is not a strike, but blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So we might not be able to play that on the YouTube part anymore. So we'll figure that out. But I hope you guys like this video portion. And obviously you're going to see more on the video and hear more on the video than that. Some of that stuff's going to get cut out of this audio part. But thank you guys for watching, man.
Scenes extended version.
Yeah. episode 50. of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. We thank our buddy Nick for coming on. And yeah. See you mother freakers next week, man. Have a good week. Peace.
Peace.